Hi. Thank you so much to everyone for having my family and I here tonight. I am so proud of my parents for receiving the Pillar of Courage Award. I can't think of anybody who deserves it more than you guys. I am so honored to have been given the privilege to talk to you all about what Chai Lifeline means to me personally. Prior to my diagnosis with osteosarcoma when I was 12 years old, I'd never heard of Chai Lifeline before. For my first few weeks of treatment, I thought that the only thing the organization did was bring us snacks and have volunteers come talk to my mom in the hospital whenever she was bored of trying to make conversation with me as I was nauseous and half asleep. However, I soon learned that the organization was so much more than that, and so much more than I could have ever fathomed. The volunteers began coming to hang out with me, usually at 2 in the morning when I was most awake. Shout out to Panina. They would tell me all these stories about trips to Orlando and Israel, but more than anything else, nobody could stop talking about one thing: camp. Despite every single volunteer that I'd spoken to telling me that I absolutely had to go to Camp Simcha, I was wary. I didn't know anybody, I was in a wheelchair, and I always felt sick. How would it be possible for me to experience the kind of fun that they were describing? So naturally, being a rebellious 13-year-old, I resisted. Yet before I knew it, my bags were packed, and I was given the week off of chemo to spend the week at Camp Simcha. But like always, my parents were right. And now I am extremely thankful that they forced me to go to camp. As soon as I pulled up to camp, I knew immediately that it would be completely unlike anything I'd ever been to before. Looking around as soon as you arrive, you see the whole place is decorated really cheerfully, and everybody is walking around dressed head to toe in really elaborate costumes. However, the first thing that I noticed that set Camp Simcha apart from any other place that I'd been to is that everybody on the campus, regardless of whether they were a staff member, a counselor, or a camper in any state of health, they were all wearing really bright and genuine smiles. I have now gone to camp for the past 4 summers in a row, and I could not be more grateful to be an alumna of the world's best sleepaway camp. Camp Simcha gave me an opportunity to get away from the woes of treatment and immerse myself in a place full of constant laughter and energy for the blissful week that I was there. Luckily, my other 3 summers at camp have been spent in good health, yet it always remains my outlet of exuberance that I look forward to all year round. In addition to the best 2 weeks of my life, camp also gives me an opportunity that I simply cannot get anywhere else. At camp, I'm able to connect with other kids who are going through or have gone through the same things as me. Sometimes it can be hard to talk to my friends from home about what it's like to be sick or have been sick. But at camp, any topic is game. It doesn't matter whether we're comparing side effects or telling our funniest cancer stories or even just having pensive conversations about life. You're able to do so in a completely judge-free zone, and everyone's willing to listen to you, and everyone just understands what you have to say. This past February, Chai Lifeline gave me the greatest experience of my life that I will never, ever forget. My mom and I were invited on a 10-day trip for Wish at the Wall. At first, the both of us were hesitant, as I would be missing school, and my mom would be leaving the rest of my family behind for 10 days. By that time, you would think that we should know better to not have doubts when it comes to Chai Lifeline. Looking back, it is completely ridiculous to the both of us that we didn't accept the invitation immediately. Being in Israel for the first time awakened me spiritually and changed my perspective on so many things. There is no feeling in the world quite like standing in front of the Western Wall and being able to thank God for being healthy and alive today. It was incredibly inspiring as well for me to see my friends on the trip experience the exact same things, as we were all just cancer survivors who were happy to be in our homeland and reflect on how lucky we are. I am so glad that my mom was able to accompany me, as she was finally able to experience what I had been trying to explain to her year after year, what it's like to connect deeply with other people who have faced the same adversities as you. Seeing her surround herself with other parents who knew what it was like to have a sick child made me thrilled to know that she finally understood what I had been raving about every time I returned from camp. Looking back, I am so grateful to have Lifeline help me shape myself into the young woman that I am today. They helped me stay strong through my toughest times, and they stayed with me even afterward as I was trying to reshape my identity. Thank you to all of you who make it possible for kids like me to have unforgettable experiences that we will never, ever forget.